checking in. This Rising fam, I wanted to take some time and just have a discussion on life after prison, family, after divorce, child support, as an Arkansas black man. And I want to say as an Arkansas black man because each state, each part of the country, family is different. Every place I visit, I have noticed that there are different laws, there's different prison reform there's different protection um, for the parent or for the, whatever parent is taking care of the child. It's just so much going on. But it's in different states though. Every state, fam, don't get it twisted and think every state is the same because every state isn't the same. Here in Arkansas, actually, family, um, they actually just passed another law to make people do 100% of their time. Um, and to me, I understand violence, trying to put a hold on time, but they literally trying to lock people up forever. Like they don't want you to get out. Like they want to make sure that the economy around the market around prison is alive here because it's a big profit here. They building more prisons and they got a lot of them already here. They used to have some private ones here, and the ones that came, they took them over because the state Arkansas want to run everything, fam. So the way they set up, fam, um, with the prison time, with how they condition you, is different than a lot of states, fam. It's different than a lot of states. It's not what you think. And I did 11 years incarcerated, family, and I can say this, when I went during my era in the early 90s, I got incarcerated in 96. Um, Things was a lot different as far as the violence in prison. There was a lot of violence. There was a lot of gang activity. There was a lot of rapes and different things in there. And one thing I can say though, you know, I was blessed to be around some people who had a vision, so they put some information into me. But if it wasn't for the fact that I stayed connected and my mom planted a seed, fam, like every day I think about how my mom was just sitting there probably just watching TV and seeing that Tulsa Welding School commercial, but that's what's the commercial she told me she seen. And she came down there and planted that seed in me to be a welder, fam. And that's what saved me in there. Like my ambition and my aspirations to be better once I was released. You know what I mean? Because things was like so crazy. Not having the right education, especially coming from where I was from in the southeast Arkansas in the Delta. I was born in Little Rock, but I was raised in McGee, Arkansas City, Reed, those southeast corner areas. And it's just different, family. It's a different struggle. It's a different struggle down there. And, you know, I had always been the one to work. I remember when I first went into the cotton field, family, and started chopping cotton, I was excited to go out there with my mom to make some money to give me some school clothes. And I never forget the first pair of shoes I bought, family. Maybe some of y'all can remember these shoes. LA Gear pumps, the LA Gear pumps, and I had some white, purple, and blue ones, I believe, like turquoise. It was neat. I thought I was on, and I got these shoes, family, from working in the cotton field. You know what I mean? Out there working in the fields, fam. And I remember I didn't know it was me and some more kids out there. And we was out there chopping the cotton stalks down. First we hit a couple of them, the folks, hey man, y'all gonna get us fired. But didn't nobody tell us how to do it. And then some of the older people said, no, you supposed to hit this and this and that. And I think to this day, fam, I think we still suffer from that in our communities where we don't wanna tell our youngsters the direction. We'll wait till after they mess up and then we say, you messed up, you're not supposed to do that. It's some things called preventative maintenance. If you will warn a person beforehand, family, they'll do a whole lot better, but you got to give them a chance. Let them get the warning first, and if they mess it off, then at least you gave them the warning, you know what I mean? But don't give them the warning and then expect them to do better, you know what I mean? Salute, brother. Salute. Thanks for checking in. Mobile, Alabama. Man, I'm going to tell you what, fam. I can't wait to come down there and check out a couple things. It's on my bucket list to visit that city, fam. So hopefully when I come down there, fam, we can network and have something to eat and to get us a couple laughs in, you know what I mean? But I am planning on coming down there soon, so making some preparations to visit a few areas on my bucket list, fam. Most definitely, fam. We need to sit down, chop it up. You know, whatever you do, fam, we'll sit there and have a moment, man. You know what I mean? I'd love to sit down and chop it up with you. And I was just thinking about, fam, just the way the system is set up. You know, I was just thinking about how we don't want to give nobody no game. We don't want to save them. And you got to be able to at least warn a person, you know. And this just made me think about a scripture, fam, because I did a lot of reading while I was incarcerated. And it made me think about Jonah. God gave Jonah a message going. Jonah said, man, I'm not finna go over there and tell them folks. Them folks gonna do what they wanna do. I'm finna go over here and get on this boat and I'm going this direction. I'm not going over there. No. And he did exactly what he said. And he ended up getting through off the ship and ended himself up in the belly of the whale for 3 days. Salute, salute. Yep, what you just said. And end up in the belly of the whale for 3 days, and then he went and gone and got out and said, you know what, God, hey, that's what you want me to do. I'm gonna go warn her. And then he did what God wanted him to do, and God turned the people around, and their heart changed, and he got mad again. But that's us though, fam. You know, I think it's just a human thing, you know what I mean? But that's something, especially in the black culture, family, we got to break. We got to be willing to warn people, just let them know, hey, fam, this ain't what you want beforehand, you know. You know, it's cool. You say, oh, they gonna do what they want to do, but you never know what a person might do if they get the proper warning. You know, fam. I mean, I can just think about the times I was in prison, fam. I got some warning on some things, but then I still got encouraged to do crime because they didn't know how to say don't do crime at all because everybody was doing crime pretty much because that was the only way they were surviving. They just said, don't do that crime. Do this crime. 'Cause that crime right there gonna lock you up forever. This crime right, you know, that's how, you know, pretty much how it was. You know, just ironic now that I think about it, the guidance that I had and the people that was, you know, talking to me versus, you know, my mom and my grandfather, you know, saying, you know, find your way. You ain't got to do crime at all, you know, but all they knew was, you know, work, you know. And I think about it now, you know, think about my mom, rest in love, and my grandfather, rest in love. Um, those two people right there, family, really put a lot into me. My dad's dad and my mom. And it's ironic now that I think about it because, you know, my mom used to say, your grandfather do for your dad the way he do because he feel he failed him. And I didn't understand that when she told me that, but he used to always, my dad would come over to need a car. He blow his car up. Dad, I need a car. My granddad do whatever he can to help my dad. Get a new motor, get a new, whatever he need. He'd be like, Dad, I need this. And man, my granddad would be helping my dad every time, fam. Now, needless to say, Dad ain't never did me like that. I ain't never been able to be the one to say, hey, Dad, I need this and this and this. Now, he have assisted me a few times, you know what I mean? And one great thing he did, and I take my hat off to him to this day, when I got out of prison after doing that time, he gave me my first truck. It wasn't a brand new truck, but it was a new truck to me. It was good. It was a new truck because he gave me the title, you know, and the keys to it, and I ain't had nothing, fam. He gave me a Ford F-150, fam. Shout out to Ford F-150, fam. I had the extended cab version, and I ended up keeping it for a little while, maybe several months, and then I gave it back to my dad, and my dad had got another truck. He got an S10, or not an S10, a Ford Ranger. That was a 5-speed, and I wanted it instead because that other truck was just a gas hog. And it was big, and I didn't really like it, honestly. At the time, I should have kept that truck. That was a good truck, though. It really was. And I gave it back to my dad, and he ended up selling it to somebody. But I got the S10, the Ford Ranger, and I enjoyed the Ford Ranger. I enjoyed the 5-speed. It was fun to learn, fam. But Dad did that, fam. You know, he wasn't there growing up. He wasn't there. You know, I was the kid that was sitting like I am now by myself on the porch, you know, waiting on Dad to come and pick me up. And he never showed up. But you know what? You know, if he would have showed up, fam, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I don't think the character and the knowledge and the survival and the struggle, you know, things I've been going through, I don't think I'd have been the person I am today if my dad would have came, you know. So I needed, you know, him to be the way he was. But later, you know, I understand why he was. So I forgive him now, you know. I understand I didn't at the time, you know. And that's another thing, you know, we'll pass judgment quick on a situation without knowing the full situation. And I had put a post up maybe a week or so ago, and I was talking about, you know, how my grandmother was my grandmother ended up losing her mind. Somebody did some things to her, and in the midst of her losing her mind, my dad was born, and my dad been having a mental handicap family since he been born. But I didn't know that. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. I didn't know my dad been on disability, Social Security since he been born. He got mental and physical disabilities, and I didn't know this. You know what I mean? You don't know this. My mom, she just seen an attractive guy. My dad was attractive, kind of tall, nice hair, good hair, so she liked him. His smile, and went with him. She didn't know it's mental. You know what I mean? So, and life happens, fam, and here I come. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of times you realize you got problems and dramas and traumas that you didn't even cause, but you got to live them out like they're in you, and you working like, why do I do this? What's going on? And then you realize what's going on through your blood. You know what I mean? So it's a big wake up call, fam. I'm not even going to lie. And going through divorces, fam. I was in prison, fam, and I got out, fam. I swear I thought, the woman I married, in my mind, we would have been there, be together forever in my mind. And I tried to do everything. So sometimes I think you come out with good initiatives, you come out with good things you want to do, and life happens, fam. It just, life happens. People grow apart. And I remember, though, my mom warned me, though. She did tell me, son, I'm going to support you, whatever which way you go, but maybe you shouldn't get married to her. Maybe y'all should be together. I'm not even saying she's not a good woman to have kids, but I'm just saying you shouldn't marry her. And mom was right, but, we live and we learn, fam. You know what I mean? And, after going through those things, fam, and then, and to be honest with you, fam, I've been divorced 3 times. So the second time, I don't even pretty much count because I got to count it, but it was annoying me. We probably stayed together. Man, it wasn't 90 days, fam, and we got divorced. Like, it was crazy, you know what I mean? And the crazy thing about it is that situation happened right after my mom died. So I was a little weak and I made some foolish decisions, you know, thinking I could trust somebody and I couldn't. And you get a little weak, fam, and some people don't, who have never experienced that, don't know how to take, you being weak as a black man, you coming from rural areas and you going through mental stress, A lot of times when we get into different relationships, I notice a lot of the women that we get into relationships with, a lot of time it be their eyes and our eyes. We don't do a lot of homework based on a person, because if we do just a little homework, half the people, probably 3/4 of the people that you would have talked to, you'd be like, ooh, I'd be with her. You do that little homework, you're like, no, I won't. You know what I mean? Salute, thanks for checking in, fam. Once you do her background check, what? She don't know who her dad is. Her mama tried several times to find out. What? She been a stripper all her life. What? She got a few kids and the dad isn't already took them. What? She drink all the time and she stay. Like, once you get to knowing the situation, man, you would not make those choices. But we look at the eyes. We see them at the club. We see them out and about. We see them, in their appearance, but we don't see their appearance. So we make decisions based on eyes, fam. And I could be guilty, fam. I did that. But my first wife, though, I actually loved her, fam. I didn't want things to go the way they did, but it went the way they did. But I did love her. I did even try to go back out of all of my relationships. That's the only one I went back to trying to fix. And it's just what it was, fam. We was on, that old saying to say unequally yoked. It doesn't mean spiritual, as far as, oh, he's this Christian and that person this. I think it means the energy. You don't want to be yoked up with the wrong energy. You got two strong oxes. They pulling. You don't want to have one that's completely weak, and that one that's doing all the work gonna eventually wear out or get tired, because they pulling more of the weight all the time, and it's only gonna be for so long. You can pull a majority of the weight before one of them give out, fam. And that's what I noticed just in relationships. So I made some bad decisions based on my eyes, you know what I mean? But, I ain't know, fam. You know what I mean? I ain't know. But now, I can give some good wisdom and some good knowledge to some youngsters, to some young kings, and even my son, about making decisions when it comes to women and females, and how to cope and how to have courtship and how to date and how to not tie. I know things now that I didn't know then. So I can pass more information, but, we're not taught these things in rural areas, especially in Arkansas. I love to say that because this is a slave state, fam. I'm from Southeast Arkansas, family plantations all down there, still down there, you know what I mean? But I can say this, it was so ironic that I read this book and it was talking about the slaves, some slave owners that was in Arkansas was way more lenient than the slave owners that was in Louisiana. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, they both were slave owners, but the way the wars was, some of the wars they was claiming that was in Arkansas, especially some of the slaves that came from Mississippi and got into Arkansas City and got up in, got up into Arkansas in different spots. They said the Arkansas, the white people treated them a lot better than the ones that was in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? So it just outrunning. I'm like, boy, it's something else. So so you got to know where you're from. Here there's a few different massacres happening in Arkansas. Actually, not too far. I'm in Little Rock right now, and not too far from me, I believe it was in Wrightsville, Arkansas. So y'all do this research. It was, I think, Wrightsville, Arkansas, where they burned some people alive in a shipping container, I believe, in a container. They burnt these people alive, put them in there, and set the thing on fire and burnt them alive. Fam. So it was a lot of bad things happen here too, fam. You got to think we next door to the Tulsa massacre. You know what I mean? We right next door to it. So it's a lot of stuff here in this Bible Belt, fam, that you don't understand. And even now, like I say, the laws that are being wrapped around that I'm noticing here is wrapped around family to protect the rich. The Democrats here, family, is actually, in my personal opinion, is actually destroying the black communities, keeping us from growing in a lot of different areas. So, I'm not I don't dive into politics, but I do believe that politics exists, so you have to know them. But if I had to pick a side, I'd be more of a Republican than a Democrat, you know what I'm saying, just to be realistic with you. So, as life go on, you learn more and you get to seeing what's going on, and you're like, you know what, um, you just got to be realistic, fam. You got to be realistic and put everything on the table just to see what's going on. And it's just the laws, even with child support here. I got to throw that out there because, fam, I don't have no problem with paying child support. Like, I think that every man should take care of his child. If it's yours, take care. I don't have no problem. But it's one thing to pay it and still not see your child, or them to just garnish stuff out and you don't even owe it, and then you got to fight it and never get it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, the laws that set up here, family, they don't care. They just want to see, like, they literally would just take your stuff here in Arkansas, and pretty much you have to fight to get it back, and then you don't even get it back. You get a credit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how they would say, we're gonna make sure you take care of this child, but then if you taking care of the child, they don't make sure that the woman allow you to see the child and y'all to have a relationship. She keeps the baby and causes some issues, which we know that 70% of single parent homes end up in prison, on drugs, mental issues. 70%, over 70% actually. So, just with the statistic alone, you would think that the parents, especially the mothers, will want the dads involved. But it's not like that, man. Arkansas is different, fam, especially here, fam. I literally feel like a person, you know, I literally feel like people would use your child just to make them feel good about all their other failures. Because I have had someone tell me, I don't want my baby around this and that. I don't want you. He don't need to be around this and this, and everything that I was told not to do, they have done. And it's just ironic, fam, that the way the law is set up, it can be done. So I'm gonna have to go to court, which I'm getting some things together now, to fix some things on top of me having to fight child support from garnishing. On top of me going through divorce, and what's the crazy thing about divorce, fam? If a person say they don't want to be with you and they leave you, you would literally think that, okay, if you sign, I'm gonna give you what you want. Then why would you put some BS in the paperwork if you say you want to be free? If you know, you're in a better place, why you wanna say I'm gonna leave, but then I'm gonna put my foot on you though while I'm leaving? You know what I mean? Like, boy, I'll tell you what. It's just some of the things that you experience, fam. You don't know a person till you know a person, fam. We get in relationships and we love people that we would die for, fam. Like, we would literally lay our life down and die for, fam. They would not do the same for us. They would not do it. They would not die for you. They would not sacrifice the things that you would sacrifice. And then in your mind, you thinking you got a ride or die soldier, fam. And it's not like that. And it's sad that it plays like that, but You know, we live and we learn, fam. So that's why I had to say, you know, black man in Arkansas, because the laws and the politics are different here, family. And, you know, they're not set up, you know, it's not set up for a person to be established independently. They want you to depend on them, you know. So you have to make your own way. You can make your own way, but I just want, you know, a person to be aware of the laws here. And I don't plan on staying here. Lord's will, I pray I don't die in Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? I pray I be in somewhere else. I don't know where, but I pray I be in somewhere else. You know, um, I had I had some thoughts of when I come down and restore my mom's house. You know, I was like, you know, when I'm gonna get this going, I'm gonna get everything come in and out, and I'd rather die in my mom's house like my mom did. My mom passed away in her house, and I said I'm gonna restore, come back, and then I just realized that there's things ain't the same in your small towns, in your hometown. Majority everybody are dead, and people grew up and people leave, and then you realize what's really going on, like how people really act, how they behave. And you're like, man, I don't want to be around none of that. You know, so now I don't have the same feelings that I once had when I came back, fam. It's been a headache. You know, I had put myself in a bind several times for my family and my kids. And I'm left like this a lot of times. You see me, don't you? By myself. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not just saying that I'm by myself right now, but I'm alone a lot. You know what I mean? And you tend to learn a lot of things, family, when you spend a lot of time alone, fam. My bad about the video. I believe my phone is about to die soon, so I'm gonna keep on going to it die, fam. And I wanted to just come and talk to y'all this rising, fam. And you know, I can be honest and say that I made mistakes and I failed, fam. But I've learned from them too, so I'm, you know, I'm picking myself up, dusting myself off. But I can be realistic and say that it's just, you know, if you don't have no uh, record, uh, black man, young king, don't get one. Especially here in Arkansas, don't get one. Period. No matter where you at, fam, because we already got a strike on our back. And if we don't know no better, you mess around and get in the system, family. That's another strike, family. And even here in Arkansas, like they would say, like they even keep people from getting certain jobs. I'm gonna tell you something that's real ironic here. You know, they believe in the prison labor. They got jobs called work release. They pay them not a whole lot. And I had seen companies say we hiring looking for welders. Come to the school and say we looking for welders. We were looking for welders so bad we going to the prison. Now you going to the prison because you getting cheaper labor. Then they tell me, well, we don't want to hire nobody coming out of prison. They'll go to prison to get labor. But they tell me to come in there if they got a record, if it's this and this and this, like they so picky about it. I'm like, but you going to the prison and get it because in there they paying pennies on the dollar. They don't want to give you the 17, 19, $20 coming out of prison, even though you good welder. Oh man, but you got a record. Now it might just be, you know, a robbery or a burglary or a dope charge. They still got issues with whatever it is. But if you in prison, you come work with us. Yes, yes, yes. We can pay you a whole lot cheaper. As Arkansas fam, just got to be aware of where you at. You know what I mean? And I just noticed it around here. You know, it's a lot of this is the Bible Belt fam that I'm in, and a lot of people preach things that they do not live here. They do a lot of preaching that they do not live. They love to look good on the Sundays, and they love to sing in the choir. But when it comes to really helping fam, you don't see a lot of that. Like the support is more superficial. It's more just, you know, cosmetic, so to speak, you know, but the real support, you know, there's only a few out here really getting to it, really helping people, really changing things, fam. Especially for the city and for the youth. You know, there's not a lot of programs that's really open up doors. But I do want to give a shout out to Empowering Our Environment. They have a group here, some black brothers here that's called Empowering Our Environment, and they're trying to do everything that they can, you know. And the crazy thing is, as we getting started, fam, we don't know. We don't know how to do it, but we got to do it. And if you see somebody that's trying, we got to support them. Yeah, they might not do this or that right. That's cool. Support them anyway, fam. You know, I just believe in supporting us regardless. I believe in supporting us, just like any other culture, would support their culture, we got to support, you know, mine. So I like to shop with my people. I like to go buy things from them. I like to support them any way I can, fam. And I have been beaten. I say, you know, I'm still going back because hopefully I get a good deal out of another brother. You know what I'm saying? So I just believe in supporting us, spending my money with us, and educating us. Education is key, fam. You know, a lot of times we go through things that we go through as men, as women in America, as Black Native Americans. And our major issue, family, is knowledge, fam. And I think about the scripture when it says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, family. And it's truly the lack of knowledge, family, not knowing what to do, or not knowing how to handle certain situations, or not knowing how to maneuver through this crazy world. And it's just so ironic how the people who you know, who say that they Christians and want to throw the Bible up, or the people who say that they Muslims, you know, a lot of times, fam, you know, actions speak louder than words, fam. You know, that's why I'm not caught up in religion. I'm a spiritual man. I'm not religious at all. I don't knock anyone for what they believe in. If you believe in something, you stand on it, that's your belief, I salute you. You know, I'm behind people like that. But it's those who say one thing and do another. It's just like me. If I say, oh, I'm spiritual and I'm with helping my people and educating people, but you don't see me helping people. Like, see, the thing is, if it's your purpose, you do it for nothing. Now, we know we got to make money. We got to do things. It's business. We got to have a business. But certain things you would do just because that's who you are, fam. You would do it because that's who you are. And one thing I learned that about your purpose and your gift, once you find it and you get in line with it, you're going to get paid. Money gonna come. It's gonna want to make sure you good, so that way you can continue doing what you're doing. Your gift wants you to operate, and you understand there are operating expenses. You know what I'm saying? Living conditions. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be okay. But it's one thing to be a teacher, family, and just do it for the money. You know, just doing it. Just doing. You ain't really educating the kids though. You ain't really giving them anything. You know, so. If I can't do anything else, fam, you know, the main thing for me blogging and sharing my examples and talking and showing videos is to be naked and not ashamed with folks, fam. I can be honest and say I feel I made some wrong decisions, you know, and this is what I learned from them, so I can at least give you my error. I can give you the corrections from my error, and I'm steady working on me. Because I think that, you know, as long as we're alive, family, we are a work in progress. I remember a gentleman told me in prison, he said, son, when you get out, I want you to live like you're going to die tomorrow. I mean, be cautious, treat people right, you know, take care of your health, you know. But I want you to learn like you're going to live forever. Every day learn something new. Be willing to learn. Be willing to advance what you know. Be willing to get a skill, a trade, master something, fam. You know, we always heard, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. And family, actually, that's foolish. We actually want to master something, and then we can jack everything else. But you just run around without mastering something, fam. You got to find your own lane, whatever that lane is. And that's why I blog like this, fam, just to be realistic, just to shine some light on the situation, you know, of what we don't know. Because when we don't know something, fam, we make some terrible decisions, fam. With women, with our life, with business, with work, with, you know, drugs, with whatever the health decisions. Like, once we know better, family, we can start doing better. But you can't expect the people to grow. You can't expect the man to do better if he don't know anything, fam, if he ain't got the right information. And that's one thing, fam, that I want to change, especially from the black youth coming from Arkansas, coming from out of here, fam. If anyone want to see someone that is doing something and helping somebody, I want to be able to give that example. I want to be able to give some archives, fam. That's why I blog so much. That, you know, when after I'm gone, family, I want to have enough content to feed somebody, to be realistic, you know what I mean? To be like, yeah, he went through this, he made it, he did this, you know, because sometimes the celebrities and people we look up to, fam, we don't know their stories. We don't know how they made it. They just showed us that they made it, you know, and later, years later, we found out, oh man, Master P got $10,000 from when his granddaddy died, and that investment helped him open up the No Limit record store, and he got on and started producing, and here it goes, started, you know, releasing his own thing. We don't know the full story till later. But it would be great, fam, if you can follow someone and just know their story from start to finish. How they rise, you know, how they fail, and they just being realistic. So that's why I talk, fam. And when I say, you know, it's almost like it's taboo to talk about your culture and your color. So I have to say black man is. Now, my conversation is for anybody. You know what I mean? I want to help anyone, but I can only be realistic and say I was sent to help mine. You know, it's just like Christ said. You know, I was sent to help my people. When they rejected me, I gave it to everyone. But I was sent to do this. I had to go to them first, and I had to get rejected to give it to everybody. So I understand the concept. I really do. So, fam, this rising fam, I just wanted to talk to you briefly, and just just say, fam, we live and we learn, fam. But nowhere yet, fam. I've been more up on the laws in Arkansas, and I'll tell you something else about I learned in Arkansas. It don't have any renter protection. It's all about the landlords here. So if you own something, hey, it's all about ownership here. If you own something, you can do what you want to do. The person that's renting from you, you can step on them. That's what you got to protect yourself here, fam. It's just a lot of stuff that I see that's kind of messed up. Like this one lease situation, I was trying to get this home. They wanted me to sign a 2-year lease, and I'm like, I'm gonna just sign a year. I said, nah, but you got to have to sign a 2. They want you to sign a 2, and then after the first year, they increase the rent up, and you got to pay it because you signed the lease. I'm like, I'm not paying. Why it ain't the same? Why am I renting this for 2 years and you going to increase it the second year? Like they make you get in a situation to screw you. But if you don't know no better, you dive into this, fam. So we have to be cautious. We got to learn, fam. Financial literacy, fam. We have to learn, fam. And it is what it is, fam. Ain't nobody teaching us. So as we know a little something, throw a little something out there, man. Get something back to these youngsters, man. Talk to them. And I remember telling someone one time, I was holding a conversation with them, one of my students. And I was in my feelings, fam, about my daughter, and she's a young lady herself. And I just said, let me run this by you and tell me how you feel about this, and how you feel I should address the situation. And I explained it to her, and man, family, she gave me some good insight. But I had to be transparent with her, and I'm teaching her, and it's just ironic how, and she even told me, I like the fact that you even want to do better. She said most fathers, most people don't want to do better. She was like, to this day, I love my dad, but I can't talk to, certain things I just can't do because we never had that relationship. He never, pretty much was open and honest to talk to me. So we talk, but we don't talk, and I don't want to be like that. So, talking to that young lady made me realize some things, humbled me. I said, you know what? You right about that. Okay, I'm gonna switch this up. But she told me, yeah, you was right, feel this way. Maybe you should do it this way. And you can still get that same result. But we live and we learn, family, from one another. So, being here, being from Arkansas, fam, all I can say being back now, fam, has been a culture shock. And I don't know how long I'm gonna be here, but I'm most definitely gonna be here long enough to see me and my son have a free relationship. Most definitely, where it's no screens attached and nobody keeping us from seeing one another. That's my goal. And so, right now, I told someone the other day, right now you can say I got 5 more years on parole, meaning until my son graduates or I get him beforehand. You know what I mean? But I'm sticking around for him, fam, because I know how it is not having a father, fam. Not having someone to really tell you. You make so many wrong decisions. And even though, people that got their parents in their life, some of them still make the wrong decision. But if you got some good parents that you can talk to, fam, you might still make a decision, but at least you got some knowledge you can bounce back. But just think if you ain't got nobody, fam. You ain't got nobody to give you something to really keep you safe. Nobody to put something on your mind, you know what I mean? That way you can use that and have you good, because we just out here, fam. These kids are out here. They listening to social media, fam. They listening to, their own peers, and that's terrible, without getting some solid information, fam. So I blog like this just to be naked and not ashamed, fam, and just say, hey, I made a mistake, fam, and I'm trying to get it together. I'm working on me every day, fam. Going to counseling and everything, you know what I mean? And I'm learning more, And I'm gonna tell you something, fam, before I let y'all go. I was having a discussion with my counselor a few weeks ago, and she literally told me, fam, being here in Arkansas, she said, this is a stressful environment for someone like you, coming out of prison. The laws that set up here are stressful. They're not meant for you to win at all. She even told me Arkansas is set up for me to win, not for you to win. This lady told me this with tears in her eyes, man, because she said, I know that everything you're trying to do, it's like the system puts more stress on you to keep you from doing it. And sometimes you have to get away from here to find that peace that you need. So I understand if just being here is a stressful and a trigger situation for you, you know, just being back, you know. And I just had to sit there and just think how it's just ironic how other people know what's going on in our lives, know the pressures and the disadvantages, and we don't know. Or we try to say, man, you know the system. They try to say, oh man, get over yourself, man. Do this, do this. But it's not like that, fam. There's only certain things you can do, fam. I wanted to make sure I leave the comment up there. My phone's about to get ready to die, fam, so I'm gonna let y'all go. But just wanted to talk to you, fam. Just be realistic with you, fam. Like I say, been married 3 times. First time I stayed married for a while, almost 10 years. Um, Second marriage, almost like 7, 8 years. Um, well, third marriage, 7, 8 years. So I had a history of long-term relationships. You know what I mean? 2 of them anyway was, you know, took a nice portion of my life, and the other one, um, I'm not in a relationship with, but I am because you know, I've been feeling like my son just turned 12, and I was being funny but being real at the same time. Like, man, I've been going through 12 years of slavery. You know? My son just turned 12, and I'm trying to make a change now that he's old enough that we can go to court in front of a judge and let him pick where he want to be. You know, so you know, it's that situation now. You know what I mean? But I'm still dealing with it, so I could be realistic with you and say, hey, if you pick the wrong person just because of looks before